morning. We are back recording. We are in my third period class, the definition of terretism. Don't forget, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the bell. We are looking at point slope and slope today. All right. So now, the people that named this were not very creative. Okay, kind of like some of y'all. I will tell you this. In this equation, those two things are just left there. Okay? They're not what we plug in and use. What we plug in and use is labeled by the x1 and the y1. Okay? Now, so if we're sitting here, and again, I don't really understand why they said slope starts with the M. Again, a lot of this, all this was in a different language. They probably said slope was the only thing they could relate it to is mountain. I don't know the other name for it. So for number 1, our slope is 2. Our x1 is 4. Our y1 is 1. Now, if we're plugging this in, wrong one. All right. That's basically, our little formula from right here with enough space for us to put stuff in. All right. So, our x1 and y1, well, x1 is 4, it goes here. y1 is 1, it goes here. My slope is 2, it goes here. That's all we have to do right now. Okay? That's why paying attention and looking at, requirements. We're writing it in point slope form. Now, we will use point slope form to do something else later. But at this point in time, this is it. So yes, it's pretty easy. Pretty simplistic. Some of y'all should really get it. Okay? All right. Now, number 2, slope 1/2. All right, and if we're filling it in, it goes here. x1 is 2, goes here. y1 is 4, and it goes here. All right, now, this is what I want y'all to do. Since this is kind of simplistic, I want y'all to do the rest of the 4 on the paper, and then we're going to come back and go over them. Okay, that's kind of how today's going to go. We do a little bit, y'all do it, we go over it. Okay, and then we'll talk about some other things. All right, so let's look at number 3 and 4. So our slope is 2/3 and goes here. Our x1 is -6 and it goes here. Our y1 is 0 and it goes here. Now, if you left it like that, it's still the right answer, but it's not really that accepted. Okay? And I'm probably going to count this. I will try to not require you to write one of these with a 0 right here, because it does not make sense to me. And if I did, this is how I want you to leave it. I actually want you to leave the 0 right there, so you know that there's a placeholder. Now, minus a negative is what? Positive. Plus a positive. Okay, so this is actually, that's how I would want it answered. Now, further on later this week, first of next week, we're going to be using this a lot to get to something else. Okay. All right, number 4. How many of y'all noticed that it gives us a point, gives us a slope, but then we start writing the slope, then the point? Anybody notice that? No? Okay. All right. x1 negative 8 goes here. Negative 1 goes here. All right. Same thing. We would have to clean this up. So instead of y minus negative 1, this becomes y plus 1. Negative 3 over 4 stays there. And x plus 8. All right. So how many of y'all got those? You just needed to clean up the minus the negative things. Okay, good. If you got that, that's perfect. That means you're getting the concept. The minus the negative things, those are little details that we can clean up on the way. All right. Negative 1, it goes here. 4, and it goes here. Negative 3, and it goes here. Now, again, we have to clean up this one because of the minus the negative. All right. And number 6. I never really understood why some teachers or math problems, whatever, you would have these things where this stuff would be 0 and then they would write it in the next step with it not there. That's how you confuse a lot of people, okay? Not a big fan of that. All right. Any questions about number 5 and 6? All right. So to the back. Now, this right here, we're going to see if I can make this bigger here. Oh, there it is. Nope. Undo. These equations right here. All right. You have your traditional method that you probably should have seen a lot. And then you have my method, which is basically, it's the same thing, just a different order. Now, I've had people tell me for a long time that my method doesn't work. Actually, you get the same answer. Okay? You get the same answer either way. My Algebra 1 teacher counted my homework wrong because I did it my way instead of the traditional way. And then I've had coworkers like, please quit teaching people your way and not the traditional because they won't be able to derive an equation. If they want to derive an equation, they're going to derive it. 9 times I said, you realize the people I'm teaching here, right? That's what I told this. I said, we're going to be lucky if, they make it out. So, here's the deal. It doesn't matter which method, okay? But I would do this. Again, the reason why it's written like this is because where this was actually came about, they didn't have tape measures where you hold it at the start and it measures the beginning. They went from the end back. Yes. Yes. All right. So you need your y values on top. I would still do this even if you don't, whichever method, because it will help you make sure that you're setting it up right. All right, so we're going to have 7 minus -1. And I'm doing the Jeffries method right here. Okay, I'll do the traditional in a second. All right, and then we have -3 minus 1. Now, either way, it's a calculator problem. Okay? So the way you would do this, you would hit the N over D button. 7 minus -1. Then scroll down. -3 minus 1. Bam! I get -2. Now, if I do it the traditional way, all right, it would look like this. So, same process. -1, 7, 1 minus -3. All right, I still get -2. Okay, so on this one, that's why it doesn't matter. Now, if you're asking me a question like, hey, I need help with this, I'm going to ask, which way are you doing it? Are you doing it the traditional way or the Jeffries way? Okay? Pick the one that works for you. Okay? All right, for number 8 right here, it's -7 minus -4. No, thank you with the fart noises with the mouth. And then -6 minus 3. All right, so -7 minus -4, -6 minus 3. All right, we get 1/3. Yeah, 1/3. And I think that 1/3 was just vocalized. Now, all right. Again, it doesn't matter which way that you do it. Pick the one that works for you. I would suggest, highly suggest, to draw the brackets to help you put the ones on top. And remember, it's written like this: X, then Y. Okay? So you know that the second numbers go on top, the first numbers go on bottom. Okay? All right. So I want y'all to work on these other 4 right quick, and then we're going to go over them. All right. So let's go over these. So number 9, we should have -1 minus -6. 2 minus 4. -1 minus -6. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Then 2 minus 4. All right. So 5 over 2. It was negative, correct? Yep. So now, we want to leave our improper fractions like this. Okay, slope is actually used partly as a direction. Okay, kind of like we were doing those translations last week where it says move it to the right 3 units and up 2 or whatever. That's what this is actually doing here. All right. So -8 minus 7 Negative 3 minus 2. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Mm-hmm. Every time. Alright. Should get tree. Alright, are we good with 9 and 10? Alright. And then 11 and 12. Negative 3 minus negative 1. Negative 6 minus negative 4. Come on. Biscuits. Oh my gosh. You know, if they would just enable my webcam, this would be so much easier. So negative 3. Why are you headbutting him with your head? In his head. Both of y'all, I think, can't actually do well with another concussion by the way y'all act naturally. So 7 minus 2. Negative 4 minus 6. Alright. So we get negative 1/2. Alright. So tomorrow we'll have a little bit more practice with this. Okay. We are going to be adding on to it each day. Alright. So don't forget, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the bell. Good stuff, good things. Roll Tide.